So the first person. so the first person. Hey everyone, welcome back to Everyday Backpacker. I am Ghost Mule. And today I've got a very special video because Mark over at Mark Goes Hiking just tagged me in the new gear for 2022 video challenge. It's the first time I've ever been tagged in one of these challenges. I'm pretty excited, so let's get started. Alright, so this first piece of gear is also the one I'm most excited about trying out this season. In case you haven't noticed, I am a full-on card-carrying member of the Daywalker Ginger Club. All my life has been one constant battle between me and the sun. And the sun has unfortunately won on most occasions. So, especially the last couple of years, in order to avoid skin cancer, I have gone on many different types of gear and techniques to try to limit my exposure to the sun. Most of this usually involves basically being covered from head to toe with the hood pulled up and some sort of a hat, because I absolutely hate sunscreen. So the first piece of gear that I've got new for this season is the Gossamer Gear Light Trek Hiking Umbrella. So this is a chrome finished umbrella, and these are obviously good for a couple different things. Mainly, like most umbrellas, it is designed to keep the water off of you. But in this case, it also provides an SPF protection of 50 plus. So I am looking forward to using this in some of the areas that I go hiking in. They're a little bit more exposed than others. But this umbrella is made out of aluminum with a polyester coated finish to it. And it comes in at an amazingly light 6.6 ounces. Probably inviting some sort of bad luck by opening this up inside, but hey, who cares? So I was kind of on the fence on using these for the longest time. For one, the wind is a major factor here in Montana, so I won't be able to use it all the time. But what really changed my idea on this was a video that was done by my really good friend and fellow YouTuber, Jay from Jay Wanders Out. He posted a lot of different ideas that I had never even considered. For instance, the ability to shade, to protect against wind at breaks, or when sitting in camp, and the importance of, even wearing waterproof gear, that water still sits on you, and that water sitting on you can pull heat away. And so just by putting something else between you and keeping that water off of your shoulders, it makes a difference. So I'm going to give this guy a shot. So yeah, that's the first one. I am most excited about it, and so is my ginger skin. So hopefully it'll work out well. Alright, so the next item on the new gear show and tell is a pretty much blatant attempt at shaving off as many ounces as I possibly can. And although it's a small amount, everything adds up. And that is going to be my Patagonia Micro Puff Hoodie. So as you can see, like most Patagonia jackets, it does collapse into its own pocket. Then if we pull this out, it is just like your standard hooded puffy jacket. In this case though, the Patagonia hooded micro puff comes in at just a hair over 11 ounces compared to my old nano puff, which comes in around 17 ounces. So not a bad little savings in weight there. The micro puff accomplishes this by using a synthetic fill called Plumafil. That is as they call it, a revolutionary featherlight down alternative. I have already been wearing this in the Montana winter, and I can say for its weight, it is amazingly warm. It is not as warm as the Nano Puff pullover that I have, so that will still be around for some of the chillier trips. But the reality is that up here in the mountains, we pretty much always have a puffy with us because it is not uncommon for the evening to get down into the 40s and 30s. and sometimes even in the 20s. So yeah, nothing super exciting about that. Just basically a ultralight puffy. Hopefully it works out really well. I like it so far. All right, the next new item I have for 2022 is actually a little bit of a fudge. I've already used this on one trip, but only one trip so far, so I feel like it's still pretty new. And that is the Platypus Quick Draw Hollow Tube Fiber water filter. So the Platypus Quick Draw water filter weighs in at 2.2 ounces. And what I like about this is a couple different features it have. One, it does have the ability to do a field integrity test, which the Sawyer Squeeze does not. It is about the same flow rate as a Sawyer Squeeze, but I think it maintains that flow rate a little bit better in my experience so far. And the other thing that's really nice about this, it is field cleanable, just like the Platypus, or I'm sorry, the Sawyer Squeeze. You can either shake clean it, which is marginally effective, or the tip of this is sized so that you can use a regular sized bottle of water, like a smart water bottle or something like that, to be able to backflush it. And backflushing it works pretty fairly well. The other feature about this that I really like is the fact that the insert end is actually capped. So when you're not using this, you can cap that up and you don't need to store it in a separate plastic bag in order to keep other things from getting wet. Another really nice feature about that is that, one, you'd have less likely to lose your O-ring, which is a common problem with the Sawyer Squeeze. And then also, at cold nights when it may get down to freezing and you have to put this into your sleeping bag at night, again, you don't have to worry about putting it into a plastic bag to keep everything dry. Little feature, but kind of cool. It's also slightly more compact in size. So yeah, so far, again, pretty excited about it and pretty excited to see how it does. And last but definitely not least for me is a piece of gear that I think regularly gets overlooked in all of the masses and masses of gear review videos that are out there, and that is the lowly tent stake. So I am upgrading to a new tent stake. So for those of you that don't know, my tent is a Big Agnes Fly Creek 2, and that tent came with these small aluminum stakes. And I decided to upgrade to the Big Agnes new tent stake, which is the, I don't know if that's going to focus or not, Dirt Dagger Ultralight. These little puppies come in at 0.3 ounces. This one is 0.4 ounces. A very minimal weight difference, but I did not decide to make this switch because of the weight. What I actually made this switch for was this little guy right here, this little loop. So one of my biggest pet peeves with the stakes that I had is that they're really tough to get out of the ground. And I felt like I was constantly pulling up on the tent in order to do that, and I was worried that I was going to break the tent loop. These come with a small loop to make it easier to pull out. Big Agnes also claims that these are 25% more strong for the weight savings. They call it their lightest, most strongest tent stake yet. I guess we'll find out if that's true or not. But what makes this one unique is the, again, I don't know if this will show it or not, but the unique patent pending I-beam construction. See how they work? I do know that this is the tent stake that Big Agnes now includes in most of their ultralight tents. So really, I'm just upgrading my tent to the new stuff. All right, so that concludes my new gear show and tell for the New Gear of 2022 challenge. So the next step for me is to challenge the next video, the next person. And so for that, I'm going to throw it to my good buddy Snackbox over at Outside Comfort Zone, see what kind of new stuff he's got hiding in the wings. Now, this is not a comprehensive list. I do have a few other items I'm hoping to use. We'll see if those come to fruition, and slight hint, one of them may involve changing out my big three. But we'll see if that happens. What is some new gear that you might be using for the next season? Leave in the comments below. I'd love to see what kind of gear you're using. And as always, keep hiking on.